All this time, I'm not even on the screen. Can you guys hear me? Tucker, you can hear me, right?
Hmm.
In the Tucker's in the green room, all wrapped up in a Indian peppers blanket. Yeah, I know. I just put myself on. I'll be popping over there. I'm in a million little pieces right now. There I am. I've moved across the sky. Good morning, everybody. I tried to eat some banana before I ran in here. I was so close. I was like 30 seconds away from airtime when I sat down from coming out of the shower. So I kind of swallowed it wrong. Good morning to you. Happy Monday. This is the last few days of the month of March. And I just want to say this so we can get going. In a few days, Q1 is over with. Now, I know we had a lot of unexpected stuff pop up in quarter number one with this COVID-19 and all that, but it doesn't mean that you still can't hit your targets. So I want you to make sure you go back, you take a look at all the goals that you plan to get done in January, February, and March. Okay. So that we can do as good, if not better, in April, May, and June, Q2. So, who am I? God, I shouldn't have tried to eat while I was walking. I'm getting too old for that stuff. Banana is all I'm having for breakfast. Um, Today's guest, I'm ringing the bell of purpose before we even get started. I'm so excited. It's been a while, too long. Tucker Bearden. You ever heard of him? I'm sure you have. Put it on the screen. Now, you guys know when you hear the bell, that means that we are picking up what our guest is putting down, right? It means that it's your chance to get involved, be a part of something greater than yourself. That's when you say, you know what, it is going down over here on Bathrobe Moments. Let me start a watch party. Let me invite some friends. Let me just say, get in here. Excuse me. So please do that. If you hear something that just gets you going, gets you chills, you know what I mean? I'm going to hit the button, the bell, and get people in here. We want everybody to hear this wonderful message. This guy right here, if you see right there, Tucker Bidden, I met him, I don't know, 3 years ago, near the big. Maybe I've been doing this 4 years in August. It was not long. I know it was in the first year that I was in this industry. And we met and we worked together, and he's just gone on to do some wonderful things. So before we get him in here, let's take a look at our meme for the day. There it is. Now, I just want to see if you guys can. I want to make sure, because if I don't do this the right way, you won't be able to hear me. I'm not afraid. So I'm going to do that like that. Over there. Bottom line, sensation where you have now reconfigured it on the other yeah, there, yeah, great. I'm gonna go to the page. And see. That was the old one. 26 seconds ago. I do. You always come through, Tucker. This sucks, is what I'm typing. So sorry, you guys.
Hey, it ain't as bad as it was when I interviewed Tom Ziegler.
It has to be. Listen at that.
I'm hearing it. It's bad. It's Facebook.
I'm glad. See, everybody's
cool.
They miss you. Oh my God. No way. What do you think? Do you think we should try? We'll have to stop the stream and just do it. I can send you a link, and we can. Okay, you type in and tell them what we're gonna do. They said the audio was perfect until you came in.
Maybe I can mute myself and come back.
Oh wait. It's better. Okay, it's better.
Oh, are you still live?
Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay.
And I can hear myself actually saying words.
Okay.
Okay, let's go with it as long as we don't know how Aaron says sounds okay now. So I think it was, I saw geese earlier flying around out there. Maybe that was it. I'm kidding. I did. But anyway, let's hit it while we got it. Hello from Santa Barbara, Tia Smith and Richard Finaldi. Thank you all for being so patient with us this morning as we deal with, this is just typical of what we deal with, all of us in this world today. Every day we wake up and we cannot, isn't it, Tucker, tell me what you think. But every day we wake up, we're so used to expecting it to be how it was yesterday. And every day it just, as a result, changes. It just is. And even this, because everybody's at home, everybody's on their platforms doing whatever. So it's just, how are you dealing with it? What are some of you got a big old smile on your face. So I know you're somewhere visiting family. Where are you right now?
I'm currently in Missouri, so I was in Arkansas and from North Carolina. Currently in Missouri at the moment. So helping family and friends and visiting people. We all came together and then stayed in one place so that we're not spreading any virus, but we're around family and everything. So that's really what it is.
Oh, so your family pulled one of those Stephen King, Mother Abigail movies.
Basically.
Where everybody came to Mother Abigail's. Remember that? Loren coming in A-OK, like 98%. Thanks. So, well, tell everybody who you are, what you do, and tell them a little bit about your Asperger's and that, and I'll shut up and let you take
thanks so much for joining. My name is Tucker Bearden. I'm a certified Ziegler Legacy. I'm a keynote speaker, Asperger's advocate, and anxiety expert. So basically, what a Ziegler Legacy is I represent the Ziegler Foundation, and when I speak on stage, the Zieglers represent me. It's my job to make sure that his legacy never dies. And Asperger's is a neurological abnormality that hinders one's natural abilities to understand social cues as well as emotional responses. So basically, in short, it makes communication difficult. But over the years, I learned how to reprogram my subconscious mind. I discovered the cause of anxiety, which is actually loops, which is really cool. We could discuss that later. I learned how to break the loop. I learned how to locate my loop and break it, and through that, I became a keynote speaker, and now because of Loren, I actually got to speak. He was the first stage I ever got to speak on. It was his stage, and now I get to travel around the country and speak to people about Asperger's, anxiety, overcoming your greatest challenges, and turn them into your most powerful strengths. And I feel like my purpose here is to create generational change, which is where I inspire you to go out and inspire someone to inspire someone.
So let's talk about this because you and I, this is a great opportunity because a lot of people are sitting at home.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's at home. And I've been talking to a lot of people who are making decisions about how they're going to impact the world or do a better job of impacting the world.
Mm-hmm.
Some for the very first time because they've had a lot of time to think about it the past few weeks. And I'm getting a lot of queries, a lot of people calling or writing or sending emails asking, how do I get started? How do I find my message? How do I get out there? How do I get to do what you do? And I want you to talk about, here you are.
I put it into an analogy. Is it's like this. Like when you stand on top of a mountain and you're looking over your valley.
Hold on, Tucker.
We quit. We quit.
It. I'm showing that we're streaming, but
On Facebook it stopped.
on Facebook it stopped. Now that happened the other day, and then it popped us right back in.
Well, let's.
There it is again. There we
Okay.
are.
Okay. Cool. We still on?
I wonder what we sound like though. Yeah, we're okay. I'm trying to hear how it sounds.
It shows we're still live. Okay, we're live. Yeah, I can hear us. We're good.
Okay, that sounds better.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. So
Okay.
I had asked for those of you, let's let them get back in here. They're popping back in.
Okay.
Sorry you guys. We didn't do anything. We were just sitting here minding our business. This is so I think it's because Aaron says it's because so many people are at home.
Yeah.
Everybody's on Facebook. Everybody's, all these different things are going on. I'm on Aaron and Veronica's show at 11 o'clock Central today. I'm wondering how it's going to be from that side of the country. They're in California. So it'll be interesting. At least I can sit back and let them deal with it.
Yeah, right.
Right? Audio is still a little iffy. Yeah, we're doing our best. Techies working on back end while we speak it. Oh, we'll let them work on it. Okay.
Yeah.
So I had asked you the question. Here we are, I think 3 years since we met. We actually coached together. I was your coach. You were my coachee. Like you said, you spoke on my stage in Las Vegas for the Authority Makers Boot Camp. As a matter of fact, I have. Oh, I tried to put that picture. It was too big. It wouldn't let me put it. But I love that picture with you and Michael hugging.
Oh yeah.
It's pumping. That picture gives me chills all the time. But I wanted you to speak to people that are considering doing this or are doing it or hope to do it or are spinning their wheels. And because everybody comes in and we think that we're going to be speaking every day, all day, just like that. And it's not the case in most cases. So the reality of what you've experienced over the last few years, talk about it. How different is it than what you thought it was going to be?
So one of the things that I really want to cover with everybody is, and this is when it comes to making an impact in the world, when it comes to impacting other people's lives, it's kind of like Beethoven, for instance. I use Beethoven as an example. This man was deaf. He created some of the most beautiful symphonies ever written and never heard a single one of them. So the reason I use that as an example is when you're making an impact in this world, I want you to think of it as that. Like, you're not always going to see what it is that you're doing. You're not always going to witness the how you touch someone. Like, those of us that go live on Facebook all the time, we hear it all the time. And like people message us or call us or they meet us in the streets and they say, "Hey, look, I don't comment on anything, but I just want you to know that what you said the other day really helped me."
Mm-hmm.
And it's that just but in order for you to make an impact to the world, because that's where a lot of people stop. That's the reason why a lot of people don't do it, is they don't see the results of what it is that they're doing. They don't see the impact that they're making. But here's the thing: you have to understand the impact is not designed for you to see. It's for someone else. It's for that part. I mean, you if you want to make an impact in this world, like when I saw a TED talk for the first time, and it just lit a fire in me, and
Mm-hmm.
I wanted that's what I wanted to do, and I didn't know if I would be good at it. I had no idea what kind of impact I could have from stage or anything. I just knew that while listening to that person, I felt something in me change. So it was possible for me to do that for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to start making an impact, you're not gonna be famous from the jump. You're not gonna have
May never
people.
be famous.
You may never be. But here's the thing. It's not about that. What does it mean? Lauren, we used to say this all the time. It's not about the income. It's about the impact.
That's right.
So it's not about the in there when it comes to these lives and everything. It's not about the numbers. It's not about how many people are watching your video, how many people are liking your
The
status.
engagement.
It's not about that. It's really not. It's about the things you don't see. Because the biggest impacts that you make in this world are the people that you touch and never know about it. Because what's
Well,
yeah,
yesterday I was talking to my sister. And a lot of you know, and it's the sister whose husband took his life just about a month ago, and
mhm,
I am watching her uh, transform through that experience into um, the person that I always dreamed she would be. And yesterday, when we speak almost every day now, and I was telling her, um, I believe that one day, God, if you're a believer, I am. I believe that God, I can just see it. That God will be on top of some peak, some hill, and He'll just say, "Look out there. Do you see all those trees in all those orchards? You are responsible for every one of those trees because you don't realize." I call it the Johnny Appleseed mentality. That we just have to throw seeds in the wind. Throw seeds in the wind. Just throw them. Just keep reaching into our seeds uh, um, bag. Your content and throwing seeds into the wind, and they will take. It's like the dandelion you blow, and the little things go flying off. You never know where they land, and you don't know if they germinate. You just hope that they do. But a lot of people, it's this. I think a lot of it, Tucker. Maybe you can speak to this. We live in an instant society. Instant coffee, instant drive-through, instant. I need it now. I want it now. And there's a difference between wanting and needing. Want is stomping your feet and having a tantrum. Needing comes with a plan and it comes with patience
mhm,
because you're going to do whatever it takes to fulfill the need. When it's a want, you'll do damn near anything.
mhm.
And that's why, and you know what I'm talking about. There are a lot when you come into this business. And Mandy Kicka, she's out there. She's one of my new coaching clients, Tucker, and she's like you. She's a down home Southern girl, and she is one of the most prolific storytellers I think I've ever met. She really is, and she's constantly dealing with feeling like she doesn't belong. That when is this going to happen, or is anybody listening? So when you when oh, wait a minute, what? That- That's Brian. I don't know. He must have forgot we're live. He's on some speaker call. So okay. So anyway, but Mandy, and others, what would you say? What would you say, Tucker, about? Okay, talk about the time somebody told you the impact you had on their life, and you didn't even know how
Okay.
it made you feel, how you process it. Was ego involved at all, or was it just sheer humility?
Well, I feel like I personally, I mean, a lot of you that know me, y'all know I have a tattoo that, well, you can't really see it, but it says "Stay humble, hustle hard,"
I
and
remember
really,
when you got that.
what it means is like I got that tattoo for a few reasons, but the main reason I got it was because I realized that the impact that I was having on the world was larger than what I was originally ever thought that it could be. And I just wanted a reminder every day to keep it humble and remember where you come from and never forget how hard you had to work to get there. But just to,
And let's keep it clean. You
yeah.
also wanted to cover up that other tattoo that said "property of April."
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't ring the bell on that. Yeah.
No,
Oh, and we're gonna talk about that too down the road. You got a new
I
girlfriend,
do. I do. Yeah.
and she's a gorgeous one.
Oh, she is. I know. I'm quite proud of myself.
Should be. And but we're waiting for you we're waiting for you to get her to take a picture with her seeing eye dog.
Seeing I do. Oh, that's fun. That's messed up, man.
Hi, would you like to fill my face?
Oh my god.
Kidding. She's really beautiful. We're so happy for you, Tucker.
Thank you.
Um, okay, so let's talk about this. Remember that day you went on the stage in
Mhm.
Vegas? That look on your face. I wish we could show that picture. What did you feel that when you had been looking forward to that all those years back when you were watching YouTube videos and this and the other? Here you were in Las Vegas, never been to that big city before.
Yeah.
Got up there and it wasn't that long of a time, a
3
few
minutes.
minutes. But you came off and you've never gone back. What happened up there that day, that first day? Because not everybody that did that day for the first day, Michael Kyra, had that experience.
Yeah. Well, I think I broke chains. So I mean, really, that's what happened. Is like throughout my life, I've been very depressed and very lost, and I've dealt with a lot of darkness, I would say. And when I got off that stage, it was almost like a reaffirmed purpose. I mean, I stepped off that stage and it was like, I mean, when the crowd stood up and started screaming and everything and like and ripping and roaring, I mean, it was an amazing experience. But to me, it was kind of like it was proof that that vision, those dreams, that was sitting in my room talking to a wall for hours on end, like it mattered. Like all of that impact, like, and that's what we talked about earlier, is you're not going to see the impact at first, you're not going to witness it at first, but when you do,
Change
it's
your
just
life.
it's just like that old school water pump that Zig Ziglar talks about. You got to you can prime it all day long and you're never going to get anything, but once you put water into it and then work it for a while, eventually it's going to come, and when it does, it's going to come in abundance.
Mm-hmm.
But you have
Yeah,
to remember that it requires you putting something in, like you
to get
always said,
something out.
having skin in the game. That's what you always told me, and it's that's really what it comes about. And to go back to your last question, because I didn't really answer it properly, is what's a time when I had an impact on somebody and I didn't even know it. There was actually, I did a live stream and told one of my suicide stories because I've attempted suicide multiple times. And I told one of my stories, and this woman called me. She went on Google, found my number, and called me a few hours later, crying.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, Tucker, I just want you to know that I was sitting in my living room about to kill myself,
Mm-hmm.
and something told me to click on your video, and I just want to thank you for saving my life today. And in turn, not leaving my children alone in this world. And I just, I broke down at that point. I did. It was, it was so, and yes, it was humble. It was humbling. I mean, you say like ego, was there any ego involved? It made me feel good. I guess I would say yes, a little bit. It made me feel good to know that the impact actually did something.
Right.
But for the most part, it was just a humbling experience knowing that everything you say, everything you do matters.
Everything,
And it,
everything. Now,
yeah,
Christopher Kaysen can acknowledge that,
yeah.
because during last year's the Next Impactor competition, their
Mhm.
team did a video, one of the challenges, and it was on the YouTube channel. And somebody in I think it was South Africa, contacted the team and let them know that they had pulled over to take their life and saw that video while they were getting up the courage or something like that.
Wow.
And it changed their mind about doing what they were going to do. And that was I'll never forget that. That was something all five teams they shared it with the rest of us, and everybody was just so humbled that we were all a part of something uh, so great. It changes the way you see everything. It
It
really
does.
does. It really does. And I believe so many of us have gotten those emails and messages and stuff. And in this time right now, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about, because these are different times right now. There are a lot of people. And it's funny because Brian, my husband, said yesterday, he goes, "Honey, you're dealing with this pretty well." And a lot of people will ask me, well, because we're getting cancellations. I've had 7 speaking gigs canceled. The TED Talk in Munich, Germany, has been canceled.
Mhm.
All the way out to the one I'm looking at on my board, August 5th. A speaking engagement canceled. I've had a coaching client contract the virus. I've had some coaching
Mhm.
clients who have to step down from coaching for a while because they're sitting at home with no paychecks coming in. And it's just a different time that we're living in. But for me personally, and I'd like to know what you're doing and how it is affecting you. Um, um, for me, it's more about right now walking around inside of my own spirit. It's kind of the best way I can put it. I just it's it's hard to explain. I'm not, a lot of people, I know you understand this part. A lot of people, we see a lot of people on the social media platforms now doing all kinds of videos and stuff, people I've never seen on there before because nobody has anything else to do. Um, but then there are those of us who have been out there for a long time and you don't see us, it's like we're not, I'm expecting to see, but I don't. And I
Yeah.
think it's because we're sitting here um, doing other things. So I'd like to know the content. What are you doing right now? Do you find that I don't, people are expecting that I am like having conversations like a minister would, counseling people every day and stuff like that. And that's not the case. It really isn't. People aren't calling me saying, "Help me, Lauren. Do you have any words of encouragement?" Even though they know what we do, know what I do. Because I'm telling you, it's hard sometimes just to keep my own mind away from this collective panic that's going on out there. I went through it a few weeks ago when I bought 200 rolls of toilet paper.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I
Don't
got
say
so much
that. You
toilet
go get
paper.
robbed.
I do. I mean, that's in the bank vault. But here, I know you know what I'm saying, but maybe you don't because I'm all over the place with this.
No, I get
But
it.
tell me what's going on in your head about, because I know you work another job with Kirby,
Mhm.
which is door to door, and you're
Yeah.
really successful with it. But you can't do that right now. So what are you doing to feel like you're contributing, or what would you say to people that feel like, what do I do now? Because a lot of people are just feeling flat.
Okay. So, first off, with the Kirby thing, most Kirby guys are out there still knocking doors and still doing it till this day, even during the quarantine. Personally, I shut down and I said, I stepped back and I was like, look, I mean, as someone who's in the public eye, I need to do the right thing and be a good example for people.
Right.
And so what I'm doing right now is really just is coming back to the small things. I mean, I saw this.
Mm.
I see this. I see this whole episode, this quarantine, as an opportunity to get closer to your family. I mean, when's the last time that you actually asked your kids
Hmm.
what it is that, like, I mean, how they're feeling in the moment? What's something that's been going on? What's something I can help you with? I'm working more on my book now, but really, it just comes back down to those little things, and that's what it comes to. Is this? Quit looking at it as chaos, and look at it as an opportunity.
Hmm.
I mean, it's like a friend of mine, Joshua Colella, told me one time: children spell love Time. All right, and right now you have more of that than you ever did before. And if
Got
you're
that right.
if you're not working, take advantage of that time to work on yourself, work on your family. Because here's the thing: it's like when I tell one of my suicide stories, I talk about how I went to the creek and I saw an eagle rebuilding its nest or building its nest piece by piece. And in doing that, I realized that the most beautiful things in this world are made up of broken pieces. A home, a home is made up of tiny broken pieces. And during the chaos, during the arguments, during the pain, during the trauma, during all that, you're being torn apart and those pieces are being broken. But this is your opportunity to pull all of those back together and create something that's stronger than it ever was before. So that's
I
what I'm
agree.
doing. That's what I'm
I
doing
agree.
with it.
Well, that is absolutely on point. I can say pretty much the same thing, and my husband Brian is doing the same thing. Now, so here's some things some people are saying. Christopher Kaysen says he's been studying and focusing on other things that he's been slacking on, and how to expand his concentrating on how to expand his photography, since events are being canceled. Adversity equals opportunity. Absolutely right. Ringing the bell on that, Christopher. Thank you for that. T. Smith says that this time is definitely an opportunity. Ring the bell on that. Your big brother, Michael Kyra, says, "Hey, Tucker, I think your microphone is brushing up against your bathrobe, creating some static/feedback." So there's Big Bro. Richard Finaldi says, "My daughter had a little meltdown last night, just scared of everything. Oh, I said, this thing is not killing daddy or mommy. Oh, oh, wow." Randy says, "Ring that bell." I'm ringing it. I'm ringing it. So, Brian, hold on, you guys. Brian's going upstairs. Can you just rattle off the 6 things that you said on the show the other night? Coping skills for the quarantine. Structure, productive busyness, like cleaning out the pantry, doing your sock drawer, cleaning out junk drawers, organizing the garage, whatever. Okay. Things you always needed to do, but you had never had time to get to before. Okay, what else? Self-care. And that was a big one during our show. Self-care, taking care of yourself and making sure that you're okay. Okay. Socialization, having some of those those virtual parties, or we had a virtual game night, doing what Tucker said, getting to family, even if you have Sunday dinner, virtual Sunday dinner where everybody's at their meals. I saw where someone did that. They had meals on their tables,
Yeah,
but they went on Zoom to have a virtual prayer together for Sunday dinner. It was a beautiful thing. Tyler Perry posted a song yesterday. He's got the whole world in his hands, where it was all these stars, Fantasia and Yolanda Adams, and all these different gospel singers around the world, all sang together on a Zoom call. It was really great. And what was the next one, honey? Conscious positivity. What is that?
you got to be conscious of how positive you're being.
Deliberately find ways to make yourself laugh, gratitude, all of that.
Yeah, and
So,
it's. I mean,
huh? L- limit exposure to the media.
yeah, that's
So
true.
don't
And
sit and just stare at the TV, letting everything become like the monster under the bed. Limit yourself, just like you limit your kids' screen time. Limit your screen time, your media exposure. That's a big one. Or else you're
yeah,
going to be like, because there's so many conflicting stories, and the numbers keep changing, and it's like doomsday.
yeah, and you're also
Hey,
like when you're
hey,
watching when you're watching.
huh? Oh, and he said envision, so that you can start gathering takeaways now about how you can become a better person during this, so that when you come out of it on the other side, you have an idea of who that is.
Yeah, and it really like
Thank you, honey.
one thing I would like to tell let everybody like give you something to ponder about is that boredom in itself is a lack of appreciation for life. So I remember being a little kid before cell phones, before video games, before any of that. Like I would play with a stick and maybe a machete or a BB gun out in the woods, and I was the happiest kid in the world simply playing with very simple things. And it really made me think about that the other day when we're locked in here and none of us can leave. And then I heard someone say, "Well, they were bored." Well, if boredom, like I said, boredom is your lack of living in the moment and appreciating the little things that you have. When you were a kid, it didn't take a laptop, a cell phone, and a million different apps to keep you entertained. That's the program that you've designed and you've chosen to run. So
And
this is an opportunity to interrupt the program.
exactly right. And thank you, Michael Kyra. He wrote down all of the things that Brian just told us: structure, productive busyness, get things done you normally don't have time for, self care, socialization, conscious positivity, and limit media exposure and vision. Now, here's another thing I'd like us to talk about because we're all human.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to understand, we cannot forget we have never lived this ever. What
Mm-hmm.
is going on right now, we've not lived it. When we think about what happened in Germany, when we think about the all the different famines and all the stuff that we studied in school, those were things. This is really one of those. It's a pandemic. It's something that will be in the history books for the rest of time. And so we're in it. So what I'm getting at is, you know, it's important so that you don't carry and create a lot of PTSD for later. Is when you feel worried about something, we speak it. That's a rule in this house. Today I can be just fine. Tonight, something on the news may trigger me. It's been different every day. When you get off the phone or you get off a Zoom call with someone you see all the time and they say, I just tested positive for the virus, I'm no longer a version of that person I was before the call. I will never be that person again. Because now it's closer.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know somebody. I don't know anyone personally who, thank God, has lost their life to this thing, but I know people who do.
Yeah,
I know people who have family members that have perished from this thing. So that's how close it is moving. So my point is, we don't have to go around acting like we're not afraid or things don't scare us. We need to talk about those fears because we have a right to to feel that way about things that we don't understand. What do you
yeah.
say?
I mean, I would say that's completely true, and I would like to use what you're saying to also catapult another point. And that is like, and I'm a lot of the guys that are in Kirby are going to see this video and they're going to be mad at me for this. My distributor is already furious with me because I've been gone for 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm waiting for the quarantine to be up before I go back.
That's what you're
And,
supposed to be
and
doing.
well, they're not. They don't. The way that they see it is well, only a few people have died. It's not as dangerous as the flu. So
And it's that
they
attitude that's going to
ex-
keep this thing going for
exactly.
months and
So
months and months.
so my point being is like I stepped away just because I felt a moral obligation to do so. And like they actually don't think I'm coming back, but I am. So it's I think that people's mindset about this thing has to shift before anything happens, because if you look at the death toll, yes, the virus is not as dangerous as the flu. It's not as dangerous as anything that we've ever faced in the past, but the fact that even one person has lost their life to this, even one.
It's too much.
That's what I'm tired of hearing. I'm sick and tired of seeing people on Facebook, social media, and on my phone calling me and telling me, well, it's not very dangerous. Not very many people have died. Would you shut down all your sales for the flu? No, I wouldn't. But you know what? If I have the potential, I don't believe I can get sick. I don't get sick. I'm healthy, but it don't mean you can't spread it. And if I were to go door to door, our job in Kirby is to knock 100 doors a day, do 3 shows, and sell one machine. All right, at minimum, that's what we're supposed to do. If I spread this thing to one person and one person loses their life, one person's life is negatively impacted, then that's on me.
Mm-hmm.
That's on me. And I think a lot of people are being really selfish right now. Like they're going out and they're enjoying their life the way they would normally. And the reason they say that is, well, it's not near as dangerous as anything we faced before. It has almost a 0% death rate, and I can't get sick. So all notice like all three of those things are on your world. But now, but all these people going out, if your mama, your brother, your sister, your auntie, or your uncle, or even your damn dog were to get this virus and it did take their life, how would you change your perception then?
Mm.
What kind of visions would you have about it? Is it? I mean, it was only one person. It was just your mama that died. Why?
No,
I mean, you kind of see
exactly.
where I'm
I
going.
do see where you're going,
Mhm.
and there's some comments I wanna get to in just a second, but it's time for our pause for the cause, everybody. I want to thank you all for joining us. Those who have just come in, Lori Whitney, how are you? And Chris Coda down in Atlanta, how are you? Sean Clark. So nice to see you. Sean is on the show later this week on the first April Fool's Day, and everybody else. So, we are streaming live across Facebook, YouTube, Roku, Android, Apple TV, Periscope, and of course, from our home base with E360, yeah, E360 Television in Phoenix, Arizona. So, ringing the bell on that. And time to say, give a shout out to our sponsor for this week, Symposium, the app. Get over to www.symposium.us where conversation becomes currency. Now, if never before, is a great time for you to turn your downtime into some currency. Turn your cell phone into a payphone and get in there and see what you can do. You could be offering workshops, you could be tutoring kids, you could have story time, you could have virtual game time, all kinds of things you could do. Vision boarding classes, whatever it is that you're good at offering to help people, they need things to do. And if you are an authority on something, head over to Symposium and help somebody get out of their head, won't you? Symposium.us, again, where conversation becomes currency. So,
That's or I'm going to be going on there and teaching people about anxiety because I actually discovered because a lot of people talk about anxiety, a lot of people talk about the overcoming challenges, but very rarely do you actually get any step by step way to go through it. And I figured out how to actually stop anyone's anxiety prior to it happening. It's really cool.
now, Tucker, you used to be, with Asperger's, you used to be kind of imprisoned in your own space.
Yes.
So, imagine if you had still been that person. This would have been the perfect scenario. You're
Yes.
not having to go anywhere. But now you're not. You're out. You're knocking on doors. You're speaking on stages. You're doing all these things. Um, how does it feel for you as a person still dealing? Because you're asked just because you manage it doesn't mean it's still not there. So I
Yeah.
want you to talk to people about what do you have to do? What are your coping mechanisms for not triggering yourself? Because a lot of it, I've watched you control it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Or you hear the bell ringing, you hear the train coming down the track, and you know what to do, or some of what you can do. So how does this feel to you when because you're used to
Hmm.
being in a space where you're a quarantine
Yeah.
because you used to be in it all the time. So tell people what are some of the things you do uh to deal with this?
So it really comes down to this one concept. I mean, breaking the loop. You have to locate your loop. So prior, and this is not just anxiety. See, I discovered that one of the things. I mean, that you find is your brain is like a computer. It will do what you program it to do. Okay, the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between something that's actually happening
And
and
not
something you imagine happening.
that's
That's why
true.
whenever you remember a traumatic experience, your body reacts as if you're going through it. If you start thinking about how that one person in traffic cut you off, but about 2 or 3 hours down the road, that's done looped into you arguing with your wife, or something. So the cause of anxiety, anger outbursts, depression, anything like this is the loop. Now you imagine an infinity symbol, and if you think about every time you've ever had a panic attack, every time you've ever had an angry outburst, every time you fell into depression, prior to that event, you caught yourself in a loop where you start thinking about something negative that happened to you in the past, something that could negatively happen in the future, because that's where anxiety comes from. Depression comes from falling into a loop from the past, and anxiety comes from falling into a loop in the future. things that haven't happened yet. Okay, so if you locate that loop, figure it out. Like when you start getting that negative thought in your mind, whether it just be like, for instance, my big thing is I used to be bullied really bad, and I would fall into these three things: shoulda, coulda, and woulda. Now those things are so dangerous. You have to stay away from I should have done this, I could have done that, and I would have done this. All right. You imagine yourself. How many of you, and I know you have, how many of you in the comments, just say I, how many of you in the comments have caught yourself thinking about how you would beat the ever living tar out of that person who did that thing that one time, and then all of a sudden you catch yourself in a loop of negativity, and then that snowballs into an anxiety attack, an angry outburst, an argument with someone in your family, or you just making a mistake that you otherwise wouldn't make. So the key to overcoming anxiety, depression, any of these things is being conscious in each moment of what loop you're falling into. So if you're following, so anxiety a lot of the times comes from you pre-anticipating judgment from someone else. You when you're walking, like I used to have a fear of open spaces. I couldn't walk without touch. Like walking in the middle of the mall was scary for me. And then and I realized that prior to having panic attacks, I in my mind I would feel like, oh, this person's judging me, even though they just walked past and they didn't even notice me. Or this person in the past said this, and then this person in the past said that,
Mm-hmm.
and then the loop starts spinning, and it gets faster and faster and faster and faster. And when it reaches maximum momentum, that's whenever you have the panic attack, the angry outburst, or you fall into depression. So
Mm-hmm.
my advice for everybody is learn to locate your loop. Learn to spot that thing that starts you going back and forth like a rotating door.
Well, and I want to jump in here. We're almost out of time. We had about 4 minutes, but I will say this. I agree that there is a loop, but I also, if people, if locating the loop is a difficult thing, then here, let me break it down and make it easy for you. There are only two sponsoring thoughts in this universe: one of fear or one of love. And they serve just like a plant. So look at it like a plant. Your thought is the seed. The seed becomes the plant, the thought becomes the word. The plant
Mhm.
bears the fruit, and then the words become the action. So if you have a seed that you plant that is a fear, you're going to grow a plant of fear, you're going to bear fruit of fear. If it is a thought that is a fear, you're going to have words from that thought that are a fear, and you're going to create actions based on fear.
Mhm.
So just choose. There are only two choices in the world, in the universe: the one you make and the one you choose not to. That's
Yep.
it. It.
There's an old African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. So you have two wolves inside of you. You've got that one that's going to eat you alive, anxiety,
Mm.
depression, anger, and fear. And then you have that wolf of love. It's the two beasts. You choose which one you feed on a daily basis. That's up to you.
Well, and love is the easy way.
Yeah.
It really is. Everything about it, it lifts everything. It lifts everything. Everything goes up. When people are happy, my face, everything goes up. My shoulders, everything. But when I'm down, self-defeating talk and stuff like
Yep.
everything is down. So listen, share with each other, be good to each other, but remember, everyone, in order to do that, I close every day with the same thing. It's time to get out there and do it again. And what is that? Be good to everyone you can. But you're not going to be able to pull that off until you find the very first thing in the morning. You get up and you look for a mirror. Go and make sure that you're being good to that person first, and then the rest will follow.
Yeah.
Every opportunity, every situation is an opportunity. Once you're inside of it, you have an obligation to look at it from top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side, corner to corner, and corner to corner. If you do that, I guarantee you, you will come out of it. On the other side, you will go through it because it is a window or a door of opportunity. You will come through it because you could see through it, and you'll come out a better person on the other side, an authority with a story to share with the world. Tucker, thank you for sharing your story with us today. Promise you'll come back. We'll be
Yes.
back after the virus when you're back out there. I know that you were like the #1 person in the Kirby in your area I think a month ago, the
Something like that.
$2,000 month or something like that. And
$2,000 a week.
yeah, a week. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I know they can't handle you. So, but whatever you do, keep doing what you're doing,
I
and,
will.
and
Can I
know
leave
that you have
everybody
a.
with one thing?
Yep, we got 1 minute.
Okay, I just want to leave y'all with one thing just because I know we started this conversation asking how you can impact the world. So if you don't take anything from this, and if you don't remember anything I've said, just please take this with you because it'll change your life forever. And that is
All
if
right,
you can be the spark
I knew
that
it.
lights the way through the darkness for even one person a day in any shape, form, or way, doesn't matter if your name isn't remembered throughout history. Your entire life will be worthwhile.
Yep, I agree. Thank you guys for joining us. Everybody, be good. Come back tomorrow, God willing. Tomorrow we have Clarissa. Who is this? Hold on. Oh, yes, a fashion designer where she gives a portion of all of her fashions that she sells. She's out in LA, back to foster kids. And she's just wonderful, wonderful story. I can't wait to get her in here tomorrow. Clarissa, the designer. Wait till you meet this woman. She is doing big, big things out in LA. So come tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. We'll do it all over again. Tucker Bearden, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. You guys get out there and be the best you can be. Remember, you can never be the blessing if you can't see a blessing. I'll see you tomorrow morning right here for the next episode of Pathro Moments. And we're clear. All
Dude, that
right.
was really good.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm sorry
Thank
about
you.
what we dealt with at the beginning.
Nah,
Um,
you know how it
and
was with my show.
I'm gonna tell you this:
Hmm.
get off your butt and create another platinum close,
Go what?
another platinum close, another take them to church moment. I wrote down if you can be the. When you say, "Can I leave them with one thing?" I wrote down on this piece of paper, if you can
Because
be
yeah, that's
the
my thing. That's what I always end with.
right, but keep
Okay.
create another one and then another one. You know, every year I try to bring a new one in. You know,
Okay.
every year I change the bathrobe. So every year, try to come in with another one of those unforgettable close moments. Take them to church moments.
We're still
Don't
live.
be, no, we're not.
It's what it says. The people are commenting, and
Oh,
I
still
can
live.
see.
Oh, that's okay. Well, you know what? There it is. That's live TV. It says ending, but it hasn't started yet. But well, you know what? You know what, Tucker? I'm
Yeah,
glad
yeah, yeah.
because that's how we are. We're like family. Michael's there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there's Aaron. Have you ever been?
I will.
You used to have me sitting there going like this.
Mhm.
Remember that? Right. And I'm never gonna let you off the hook when I'm like, because I already know. Grateful to you, and say hello to your family. How long are you gonna be there? You gonna sit this
Probably.
thing out there? Yeah, yeah. And another thing I want to say, I don't know how long you're gonna.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of you. I don't care if they hear this.
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you. Know that this thing with you sitting down and not knocking on doors,
Thank you.
and with them being angry with you, that was a big one. That was a big one today for me. I was gonna call you back later and tell you, not everybody can do that,
Yeah.
but I know how important it is to you. And when you got a new car and you got a new apartment and all this stuff, but you're doing the right thing, and that's why your voice is so important in this world because it doesn't have anything to do with routing numbers. It has to do with the truth and what's the best thing to do in all.
I mean, it really, like when I say that it's about the income, I mean about the impact and not the income. I mean, it's really people have to understand that skin is more valuable than paper, and at some point you have to start asking yourself, like, who's really benefiting from me being out here? Is it the community or is it my pocket? Like, what's like? I mean, at what point is it okay to put people at risk for profit? I mean, and I know that if we're still alive right now, they're going to see that, I'm not going to call, they're going to cuss us like God. But you know what? This is where I stand. I put my foot down. The fact that offers are great to people, but at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself. I mean, like it's talking about in this video. It's like you're making an impact, and the one you don't see is the biggest one. It's the most important one. Is what if you don't want to affected? What if you did? And it's that's one person that one matter. It's somebody you know. Yeah, somebody then now you gonna be mad that somebody that say a guy came to your door and he's held is a torture. He is your brother, your mom, your aunt, your uncle. He would have chosen not to go out that day and turn to save a life.
You who used to work 15-hour days, 7 days a week, you would go on 300 and some days.
I went 3 years.
And 3 years, right? And still great. But so I know what this means to you. You know, making the kind of money you're making now, whatnot, and to do the right thing. Sit down. Let me tell you something. That was the biggest thing for me today. I was like, wow. You know, that speaks to the true core of who you are and why you're going to be a household name one day. I still believe that.
Yeah.
Believe that.
I appreciate that, and I couldn't be where I am today. I don't believe I would even be selling Kirby's if it wouldn't have been for that one phone call that day, that one status you put up. And see that goes back to what we were talking about, man. That's what goes back. Here's the thing. I may have, but people don't understand how big of an impact little things that they do have. When you stop to pick up $1 on the side of the road, or you saw a quarter, you stop to pick it up, and then you pop your head up, and you just so happen to see the grocery store and think, oh man, I need some milk. And you go in there, you get some milk, and in the line, you meet somebody, y'all have a great conversation, you end up changing their life or something. Like these kinds of things, the little bitty thing, what do you call it, the butterfly effect, the
ripple effect.
Yeah, the ripple effect. That was what you called it. The ripple effect, and that's really not big. The ripple go a long way, and that's
sure
like
do.
that day when you put that status up on Facebook, and you said if you want to share your message, call this number. Text this number, and I don't remember what I texted you. I don't remember that.
I don't either. But I remember the day I talked to you.
Yeah, and the story. And the story that we talked about over the phone was it was the story about the water staying in motion, not becoming stagnant.
Yeah,
that was because that was the first talk.
go.
That was the first talk I ever crafted.
That's still my favorite.
I might have to share that one from stage a lot more because I don't talk about
that. You should, Tucker. That stagnant, and the minute it starts moving, it starts healing. That is, I love it. Oh, my nephew's here. Hi, Jojo. So listen,
we're still live, aren't we?
Yeah, let's get out of here because we'll sit here all day. I love you, man, Tucker. I really do. And let's get together on the other side of this thing.
Sure.
Let's do some stuff.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm excited. I know that we talked about coaching again, and I'm 100% in on it. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Well, yeah, and we need you. We need you for Power.
Oh man, let's put on. Let's make the finale something to remember.
We will. Thank you. I love you dearly, man. Have a great day, and keep doing everything you're doing. Nothing's changed. It's only gotten better.
Much love.
All right. Okay, you